From Vice City to Music City, now to the Windy City. We hit the only road course in this season's BRB Chase, and only the second on the season. Chicago will certainly play a pivotal role in this championship fight, offering up what could be Dustin Stallings' only real Achilles heel of the chase, making it a prime opportunity for any championship hopeful to do their best to outscore this season's title favorite. Now, when I say Achilles heel, that was his self-proclaimed Achilles heel. He's quick in practice, qualifying beginning now. Welcome, though, to Pit Stop TV and the virtual Chicago, Illinois. My name is Andrew Cardinale IV. I've got Zach Murtis alongside, and it's a pleasure to join you for coverage of the BRB Buttkicker Cup Series. Tonight's coverage from Chicago is brought to you by Ascendance Trucks, Idealies, MX Wraps, Sundance Pizza, and Performance Food Group, and of course, by Whiplash Simcams. This is the Whiplash Simcams Grand Prix of Chicago, and Zach, it is good to be here. I do love this racetrack. I know a lot of people don't, but man, I love this thing. I am so glad it was added to the NASCAR Cup Series schedule back in 2023 and has made its return the last couple of years. Of course, not on the schedule for 2026, hopeful to come back in 2027, but man, I'm glad we have it here on iRacing.
I thought this was SVGville. I thought that's kind of what this place was called now, since he swept majority of the races that were run here when NASCAR decided to bring this street course to the schedule. But there's a lot of amazing characteristics that come to street racing. You know, when you roll up to a normal racetrack, there's always different characteristics that let themselves come to light as a racing weekend goes on. You have got a street course that has normal everyday cars rolling across it every day, rain pounding on it however many times during a month or a year that it comes to, and a numerous amount of other factors like oil and whatnot that are just dripping all over a city street. And you have to deal with these. So I think street racing itself creates a really interesting aspect for drivers to learn when it's always pretty much going to be a fresh track. There's never let the asphalt wear a little bit, let it age a little bit more, let it set in a little bit. No, it's always a fresh track.
And of course, NASCAR has done significant work leading up to each event each year, the last 3 years, but this is the iRacing version of the track. iRacing was integral in setting up the track, designing the track, and figuring out exactly which streets would be used in Chicago when this idea was brought up during the pandemic around 2020, 2021, and of course set up for the 2022 announcement. So iRacing was a very big part in this course even happening, which makes it even cooler that we get to bring it to you here on iRacing for you this evening. Let's take a look at the point standings coming into tonight. After 14 races of 18 this season, after Nashville last week, Dustin Stallings, first driver to hit 3 wins this season. He sits above Brendan Maddox, Kyle Heath, and Ronnie Osmer. Heath and Osmer being tied at 36 back, Zach. They have felt like the biggest competitors that could take a slice of this championship away from Dustin Stallings the last several weeks. But with them each having bad luck last week at Nashville, they've got a lot of work to do the rest of the chase.
Oh, that they do. And they don't have a lot of time left. We've only got 4 races, including tonight, left to go. As you see Jared Hughes going quickest in the background as qualifying is underway. And, you know, let's actually talk about that for a second. Jared Hughes is at the bottom of the barrel, 12th in points, 84 points off as Brandville goes quickest, and he was setting quick times in practice. Jared Hughes might be a wild card rolling into tonight.
Jared Hughes is one to watch. Zachary Brandvold one to watch. They traded the fastest lap in practice and now here in qualifying. Brendan Maddox is also quick, and Dustin Stallings, he, in the interviews, he said he didn't feel like he had a good chance this week. Felt like he'd be out to lunch. Well, we don't have the road course ringer of Gavin Rogers or the road course ringer of Mason Houseman, so this puts the win up for grabs for a regular points racer this evening. It puts it back in their hands, and frankly, Dustin Stallings is right in that mix. He could very well, this is the race that he noted could be his Achilles heel. this could be a win still for Dustin Stallings. So the whole league is on notice right now. He very well could wrap this championship up at least a week early if things continue trending his direction. Other drivers to watch for, I'd say, are Johnny Wood Jr. He's typically good on these road courses. In fact, he was part of our Who You Got moment on social media earlier today between Ronnie Osmer, Johnny Wood Jr., and the field. And Johnny Wood had a couple of votes out there. I would not be surprised to see him up towards the front of the field this evening. But let's look at the schedule and how we got here, Zach. Chicago, race 15. It was initially supposed to be 65 laps, now 60 laps, so cut back 5 laps to be a total of 60, 15, 15, and 30 in the stages. We'll talk about that in a minute. This is probably the latest I would want a road course in this kind of schedule. It fits right in perfectly.
Oh, absolutely. And floating back a little bit, just kind of backtracking, I'm really surprised that someone like Dustin Stallings would say a road course or a street course is going to be his Achilles heel when you've got the wild card of Talladega next week. Whenever you roll into a super speedway, I think that is always a wild card because it's anybody's wheelhouse. It's anybody's game. And when we're talking about wheelhouses, let's talk about Zachary Branfold on his second hot lap.
Zach Branfold on his second of 3 laps this evening. This is a 10-minute qualifying session. 3 laps for these drivers to set out there. You'll notice, Zach, there's a theme out there this evening. Something we wanted to do, we wanted to capitalize on this opportunity as race sponsor this evening and get a lot of Whiplash SimCam's cars on the racetrack. There's one in Branfold. We also have one technically in Dustin Stallings. He's got the Whiplash SimCam's logo on his A-pillar of his car this evening. We also have one out there in the form of Cameron Gilmore. He's got the red number 10. We've also got, let's see, Gray Walker in the green, number 18. We've also got Coulter Clark in the orange, number 54. We also have Cameron Carden in the blue, number 21. And we do have Braden Van Wingerden as well in the neon yellow, number 1, but he is not on track. And Zach, these drivers have been dubbed the Whiplash SimCam's Skittle Squad. And I'm excited.
Skittle Squad.
The Skittle Squad. That said, there's Johnny Wood Jr. towards the top of the board in qualifying 5th place so far in his number 75. Cameron Gilmore decently up there as well. Ronnie Osborne in the top 10. Carl Pooler in the top 10. Carl here this evening looking to continue a string of solid finishes. Also, Zach, you know who's back in the field for the first time in several weeks? In fact, back in the field, I believe, since the last road course, which was also covered here on Pit Stop TV. Freaky Fast had 6 races over the summer, but it has been since COTA, since Austin, Texas, that Stephen Borbell has run a race, I do believe. So good to have him back here in the field this evening. He is running. We were planning to have Adam Buzzio in the field as well. Unfortunately, he had to take care of a medical issue. Sounds small, but we just wish our best wishes to the Buzzio family and hope they get through everything okay. Regardless, good to have Borbell back on the racetrack tonight.
Oh, absolutely. Love to see Stephen Borbell back on the racetrack tonight. And one interesting stat from our own Zachary King has also floated our way. With no Mason Houseman or Gavin Rogers in the field tonight, we're going to have a first-time winner on a street course, well, road course, technically.
Yeah, I think that's pretty crazy to imagine, but that stat tracks. We've had road course dominance of those 2 drivers, mostly Gavin Rogers. I believe he's won the last 2 or 3 road courses in a row. So to not have either one of them in the field tonight, of course, Mason has gone off to basic training for the Air Force, but Gavin Rogers in the admin booth tonight, kind of taking in a more administrative role. That opens the door up to anybody else, and so far, I gotta pick Branfold. I mean, he's on pole by over 1/10, nearly 2/10. He looks really, really good. So, by the way, I've been corrected. Last race for Steven and Adam was at Bristol, so the week after we lost coverage there over the summer, and it went over to Freaky Fast for a handful of weeks. It was after that race they made the move to bring them into the admin booth. So, thank you, Zach King, for correcting me there. We also, though, we have Dakota Bly back in the field. Zach, good to see him.
Yeah, we saw him return back at Nashville, and well, he didn't exactly have the best showing out at Nashville, but I'm sure he's going to have
Homestead,
to try.
rather. He wasn't at Nashville.
That's right. He wasn't at Nashville. He was at Homestead. That's where I'm remembering it from. And he had a pretty nasty incident at Homestead that really derailed his efforts. And we were talking about him, Andrew. He was a little bit further off the pace in practice. So let's see what he can't pull together in qualifying. He's definitely not going to get the pole here. Already clicked past that time. As he clicks by the flag stand, 6.6 seconds. No? Oh, about 9 seconds. Almost 9 seconds off the pace. 8.3. It's going to be a tough one for a couple of guys tonight.
I think there's a lot of drivers just want to survive this race. One of them going to be Cameron Carden in our blue number 21 Whiplash SimCam's Ford Mustang Dark Horse. There he goes across the start-finish line. In fact, Zach, that is the only Whiplash SimCam's car in the field tonight that is not a Toyota Camry. We locked down a bunch of those Toyotas, though, I'll tell you what, as Carden jumps up to the 15th spot in qualifying at 5.5 seconds back. Dakota Bly now the only car left on the racetrack here in qualifying. Everybody else has gone to the pit lane as qualifying comes down to a close. He will have to settle for a 20th place starting position. Not setting a time, those would be Kyle Heath, Stephen Borbell, Andrew Rattel, and Coulter Clark. That said, Zach, we are into staging, if you will. Let's take a look first at the Whiplash SimCam's race details. This is a 60-lap race, 128.4 miles in distance. Stages at the completion of 15 and 30, then at the end of 60, that's the end of the race. So stage lengths are 15, 15, and 30. I hear that fuel is close on stage 3, and we might have some drivers that try to stretch. We might have some drivers that have to pit. We'll have to wait and see. 5 change sets, plenty of tires in the pit lane, no worries there. But we do have 80% fuel load that gives us that stage 3 situation. And fixed setups, 3 green white checkers, no fast fix. It's a standard BRB kind of race. Let's take a look then at the Lucky Performance starting grid. On pole, Zachary Brandvold in that purple Whiplash SimCam's Skittle out there in car 55. Brendan Maddox, another Toyota Camry, locks down the front row in second. Another Toyota in third, that's Dustin Stallings. The first non-Toyota is the Ford of Jared Hughes in fourth, followed up by the Chevrolet of Ronnie Osmer in fifth. Johnny Wood Jr. rolls off sixth, so that's a perfect row for the Who You Got segment. Starting seventh is Christian Barnes. Eighth will be Cameron Gilmore back in ninth and 10th. Richard Wolsifer and Carl Pooler, Limitless Esports teammates.
Rolling down through the rest of the running order, in the 11th starting spot, you're going to find Zachary Maddox, and right next to him is Braden Van Wingerden. 13th and 14th right behind them in row number 7, you'll find Braxton Skinner and Caden Perkins. And then 15th and 16th on the starting grid behind those two, you will find Cameron Carden and Jason Bottoms, 2 drivers looking to have a good night. And 17th and 18th, you'll find Sam Dyer and Evan Patinko, the newly announced Whiplash Racing driver. And 19th and 20th on the starting grid, you'll find Gray Walker and Dakota Bly. Starting
21st this evening, Kyle Heath, first up. They're ahead of the non-qualifiers, and I guess drivers didn't set a qualifying time, I should say. Stephen Borbell in that row as well, along with Andrew Rattel and Coulter Clark at the back end of the field. That makes up 24 cars in total. A somewhat smaller count, I will say, Zach. That's okay. I think we're going to have a good race no matter what. This racetrack is always a ton of fun, and there are a couple of pit lane starters, those being Cameron Carden and Sam Dyer from what it looks like.
Yeah, I was wondering there what was going on. It looked like a few drivers elected not to take their cars to the grid, but I really don't blame them. Turn 1 here at Chicago Street Course can be a little bit of a doozy. That's the tricky part about street course racing, Andrew, is you don't have wide sweeping corners like you would at a place like Coda or Watkins Glen or Sonoma. These are all pretty much 90-degree corners except for a handful of them. So you've got to really maximize your braking zones. You really have to be technical with this car. It's going to be a test of driver skill. If you look on your screen, you see the track map. Count them out, ladies and gentlemen. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of these corners are 90-degree corners. I mean, it's going to be a tough race.
And turn 4 isn't far off from being a 90-degree corner. It plays like a 90-degree corner. It's a little bit faster. You can carry a little more speed there onto Roosevelt Road, East Roosevelt Road, that is, into turn 5. That funnels you onto South Columbus Drive right back towards turn 6. and then it's right back into the right-handers. So, or right angles. That's what I'm looking for. East Congress Plaza Drive does offer up a little bit of differentiation in corner structure, but boy, that is the chaotic part of the racetrack, I feel like it. The rest is somewhat tame. I think certainly turn 4 and then turns 8, 9, and 10. Those are the hardest on the racetrack because they're faster. They demand more out of the car and driver. A lot of finesse required in those zones, Zach, and I think that's where we'll see our first incidents of the night, one of those corners for sure.
Oh, absolutely. And one quick stat to roll through that our very own Zachary King has left us with before we get tonight rolling and underway from the green flag. Average finishers tonight of these top 5 drivers, 2.0 for Osmer, 4.2 for Wood, Hughes is a 4.7, Borbell a 5.1, and Maddox a 7.9. If your betting odds are strong, I would go for Johnny Wood Jr. That's a 4.2 over 5 races. It's not too bad. Then you've got Brandvold at a 9.3 from 3 races, and Stallings at an 11.2 over 6 races. They're about to turn them loose, and we're about to see some good street racing.
Here we go for the Whiplash SimCams Grand Prix of Chicago. The 15th race on this 4th season of BRB Racing League action into the restart zone. We're racing for 60. Green flag here at Chicago. Through turn 1 down to turn 2. Nice and easy, nice and cleanly through these first couple of corners. Very good look for the whole field.
For side-by-side battle, that's going to be Jared Hughes looking up that inside line. He's going to take it away from Ronnie Osmer. They're going to get single file. Maddox taps it ever so slightly.
Brendan Maddox grabs the wall there. You see further back, Carl Pooler was to the inside for a moment of Christian Barnes. There goes Wolsifer. A spin out of turn 5 for Richard Wolsifer. That is not where I expected the first spin to be, but not a corner that it's out, ruled out of at all by any means. So a very difficult corner there. Wolsifer gets bit, and the field continues on. Here we go, Zach.
Yeah, most of the time you just roll up on someone's back bumper like that, it can really upset your race car. You'd think it upset the car in front of you, but it surely does not. As we roll through the last few corners of lap number 1, Brandvold has already stretched himself out to a considerable lead over Brendan Maddox and the rest of the field. I don't know who you had on the graphic tonight. I haven't touched social media too much since I've been at work, as Patenko goes through on... wow, that was actually really clean for what it was, but that was a pretty good move. But like I said, Andrew, I don't know who you have on the graphic tonight, as Perkins is going around.
Problems for Perkins. He's around in turn 12. Carl Pooler gets slowed down there as Perkins will reverse onto the pit lane, and
That
Cameron Gilmore headed in as well. This is not at all how things wanted to go for either of those drivers. And now Cameron Carden with a problem.
I really thought that Caden Perkins was going to go backwards down pit road, and I thought it was going to be kind of funny to see, because we don't usually see something like that happen, but I guess not. It looks like he's going to try to continue. There you see Gilmore on the pit lane. He's got some considerable right front damage as he slides through his box, parks it in where he needs to go. Gilmore does not have a pit for a fair flag, but he's definitely got something going on. As we got one car upside down. Oh my goodness.
It's a 2, Stephen Borbell. Big problems for Borbell this evening. Lap 2, this is not what we expected for the 2 car, but let's go back and see what happened to him. Racing behind Gray Walker into turn 4. That's not it. Oh my goodness.
And Coulter Clark got a piece of it, so did Evan Patenko. It's what we talked about, Andrew. These corners are technical. You miss it by ever so slightly, you're just going to end up locking up and going straight, and that's exactly what happened to Stephen Borbell. This is riding from the spoiler cam. Yeah, you can hear it. Just a misstep right there. Coulter Clark comes into the mix after the rear end's already in the air, and that's all she wrote.
I did call out turn 4 as being a problem spot for these drivers this evening. Let's watch this from the drone. Above turn 4 here into the braking zone. Just got away from him, got in deep, right into the barrier, and then got hit by the 54 car. Nowhere for Coulter to have gone. Coulter Clark, as a result of that, Zach, engine damage that is terminal. The first skittle has officially No, this is the second has fallen because Cameron Gilmore had that problem. The second Skittle has fallen, Zach.
Dropping like flies right now, and we see Zachary Maddox is off. Oh, pulls right back in front of Braden Van Wingerden. Oh my goodness, that was very, very close. Thankfully, I'm sure a lot of these drivers will be glad to see that there will be a stage N at the end of lap 15. However, it couldn't come soon enough for a lot of these drivers.
Riding on board with Jared Hughes right behind Dustin Stallings. This will wrap up lap number 3 for these drivers. And we do have Zachary Maddox chasing Braden Van Wingerden. We saw that little moment a few moments ago, actually, out of, what was that, turn 5, I think. So, turn 4, turn 5. That's what this has produced, is a nice little nose-to-tail fight between these two drivers. The neon yellow Skittle, if you will, of Braden Van Wingerden, and the American Airlines, I believe, number 14 here of Zachary Maddox. Good to see Zachary on the racetrack tonight. He doesn't race all that often anymore. He's got a lot going on, but he's going to make a pass here, I think, on Braden Van Wingerden, who gets to the turn 1 wall pretty hard.
We're not going to see another Skittle crumple, are we?
I think there's crumbs everywhere, Zach, and problems now for Carl Pooler. He's headed down the pit lane with a bunch of damage. This has not been a kind race to these drivers. I think they went 100% a little too early. Let's see what happened here to Carl Pooler. This might be even a little bit after it happened. Go back a little bit further. It seems like it's going to be turn 6. He had a clean race car until this moment. And this is deep, maybe. Very deep.
Oh. Oh, and Wolsifer even got a little bit of a piece of it, trying to make sure he didn't get into Carl Pooler.
Out front is Zachary Brandvold, lap 5 of 60. It's a Brandvold and Maddox kind of night at the front of the field. 3 Toyotas leading the way. They're all in the same voice chat, I believe, as well, and they're all driving in the chase. In fact, chase drivers make up the top 7 right now. Brandvold, Maddox, Stallings, Hughes, Osmer, Wood, and Barnes. So the chasers are definitely here to play for sure, although we are seeing chase problems for other drivers in the chase. Wolsifer, one of them. I would say certainly some problems for Stephen Borba, although he's not in the chase. Problems for, actually, I'm trying to think of who's missing. Sam Dyer's down at 18th, so he's having some trouble. And then we are, of course, follow up on what was announced last week at the end of the Nashville race. We are missing Dakota Camper. He is suspended here tonight as Ronnie Osmer gets back going after a problem in what seems to be turn 6.
And Dakota Camper suspended after, I believe it was an incident limit, if I remember correctly, from last week.
Yeah, too many incidents in not enough races, basically.
Yes. So looking through that top 10, that's the big thing I'm focusing on right now. You've got Brandvold, Brendan Maddox, Dustin Stallings, Jared Hughes, Johnny Wood Jr., Ronnie Osmer. They're all chase drivers, all looking at stage points right now. So with how things are switching up and how Brandvold is looking to capitalize on a lot of this, this could put a bit of a dent in Dustin Stallings' lead. Obviously, it wouldn't put too much, as both the drivers in front of him are within striking distance and really kind of farther back. But this is the big thing you've talked about all season, Andrew. Maximize the stage points. They can help your season even in these last 4 races.
Zach, I've been talking about it since season number 2. Since we came into this league, it has been about maximizing those stage points. That's what you've got to do here. And Dustin Stallings did a fantastic job of it. What was the stat last week? 9 of the last 10 stages have belonged to the 00, and the one stage he didn't win, he finished 2nd. So he's only missed 1 stage point in the last 5 races?
Pretty much out of the last 5 races, he has accumulated 99 stage points. If I did my math correctly, 20 times 5 is 100, minus 1 is 99. Yeah, so he really only missed out on 1 point.
Unbelievable. I mean, that is just an insane stat. You'd be hard-pressed to find anything like that even in NASCAR. Even if you cherry-picked 5 races, it would be hard to find any driver that wins 9 of those 10 stages at that point. It'd be difficult. So props to Dustin Stallings.
It's not even just the stage points either, Andrew. Talk about bonus points too. We've got available bonus points for all drivers to go for, not just these stage points. You can lead a lap and get a bonus point. You can lead the most laps and get a bonus point, and you can get the pole and get a bonus point. So already, Zachary Brandvold has collected 2 bonus points on Dustin Stallings, and he's looking to collect a stage win here in just a few laps.
Watching Dustin Stallings there into turn 4, pulling ahead and away. Oh, there's a problem for Cameron Carden. Big problem there in turns 4 and 5. He gets out of the way of Brendan Maddox, but not before slowing that 23 car down. That puts Maddox in the front bumper of his teammate Stallings. I would imagine, Zach, that Dustin Stallings is going to play nicely and allow Maddox to go for the win. The top 2 right now are the only, or are 2 of 3, I believe, 2 of 3 or 4 chase drivers that do not have a win. Let's pull the graphic up. Let's go ahead and just go ahead and do that for, ourselves. Bring up the graphic. In the chase, there are 4 drivers without a win. Brandon Maddox, Zachary Brandvold, Sam Dyer, Jared Hughes. 3 of them are in the top 4. This could be their night, Zach. Sam Dyer, the only one that's not up front of those winless drivers. Right now, it looks like a Brandvold kind of race, but it could easily be a Maddox kind of race and possibly even a Hughes kind of race. He's not far off.
This could really stack up into one interesting night. Let's just call it that. One interesting night, because I don't know. There's just too many variables for me to even speak on anything right now.
3 cars in the pit lane. Those are Pooler, Clark, and Borbell out of the race. Gilmore got back up there as Maddox is going to pull over. And you mentioned the problems for Patinko. Well, let's see this pass first. There goes Stallings on by Maddox. Maddox must have felt like he was holding his teammate up, as now Jason Bottoms hits the pit lane, Cameron Carden hits the pit lane, and there were problems for Evan Patinko a moment ago. And yes, those are some big problems. That left front has got a lot of damage.
Yeah, he went for a bit of a half spin right there and quickly collected himself. But that's going to be more time lost for that 81. There you see Gilmore right behind him.
Went back a decent ways here, so this is a little before the incident. Perkins, the car ahead, was running in 13th. Patinko is now 15th behind Braxton Skinner as well. I would imagine the moment is going to be up here in turn 6, maybe turn 7. Watching Patinko here on the braking, and yeah, just loop that car right around.
Did a pretty good job, though, of keeping it off of everybody else and keeping it off the wall. A little love tap right there.
Oh, he just had another problem.
Anybody. Oh, no.
Just had another problem. This one out of turn 1, it looks like. Here's the number 81 again. Into turn 1 and out of turn 1. There he goes. Loops it right around. Boom. That's a big hit. I think that was frustration boiling over for him.
Looking through the entirety of the field, Borbell, Coulter, Clark, and Jason Bottoms the only ones with pit for a pair flag. So everybody else should realistically be able to continue. Of course, Evan Patinko is at risk now of going 1 lap down. As we take a look at the top 10, he might have spun lap number 1, Andrew, but he's worked himself back up into the top 10. Wingerton's going to move on over, and Wolsifer is going to claw his way up into 9th as Walker now is into the top 10. That's some stage points for his chase hopes.
Yeah, for each of those 2 drivers, Richard Wolsifer and Gray Walker. Walker moving back into the top 10. He was 10th for a while. Wolsifer actually passed him, and now Wolsifer, whoa, that's a lot of yaw into the corner. The rear end got away from him for a second there. He gathered it back up, though. He's now up into 9th. That would be 2 stage points, of course, and he's got a ways to go up to Zach Maddox to make it 3. The gap between them right now, nearly 7 seconds. He might be able to make that up. Last lap, he was slower, though, than Zachary Maddox, so we'll have to wait and see exactly how that's going to work out. Walker would now get that 1 stage point, which would be huge for him. It doesn't sound like a lot, Zach, but to keep piling them up, that's always going to help as he goes wide in turn 6, and Wolsifer goes for a spin again.
Oh, no. That has got to be rough for Wolsifer. He gets it gathered up. He gets it back rolling. He's going to want to put fresh Goodyear tires on that Limitless Esports Chevrolet.
That begs the question, do we see anybody pit out of sequence here, pit here before the end of the stage, get those tires,
Absolutely
head back out?
not.
I don't know, Zach. I think you'd be surprised. I think we could see it out of somebody like Zachary Maddox for sure.
Maybe if you're
even
outside
Osmer.
the top 10, and if you're not going to get stage points, pitting might not be such a bad idea. It might not be. It really wouldn't. As we ride on board with Jared Hughes, he's fighting with Zach Maddox, or Brendan Maddox, oh my goodness, for that third spot. Look at how hard Hughes can send it into the braking zone. That's really, really impressive out of the 98 machine. You see Stallings just up the road. So all three of these drivers fighting it out right now for these stage points. Really no contest for Stallings at the moment, as Maddox let him by early on. So it's all Hughes to try and see if he can't get by the 23 and help his points out a little bit more.
Two storylines here for the end of stage one for you, Zach. Kyle Heath signed into the server, has not yet turned a lap, will not get points if he does not turn a lap. We had 24 cars on the grid. He has not yet hit the racetrack.
He has actively already left the racetrack, Andrew. He's not here anymore.
That's going to be huge. That's going to take him completely out of the chase. I mean, he's third coming in, still a chance to win the championship. I can't imagine, personally, being that close. I know 36 points is a lot, but to be in the top half of the chase field and not show up to the second race of the chase, that boggles my mind. But here we go, battle for third. There goes Jared Hughes on the inside of Brendan Maddox. And Maddox tries to fire back here at turn 5, gets him, doors him out of the way. We've got ourselves a fight.
That's a really good switchback out of Brendan Maddox. A really great move. Defensive to try and hang on to these stage points, but Hughes is going to have the preferred line going into this right-hander. Look at Maddox swinging really wide to cover him off and keep a hold of the racing line. Hughes gave him a lot of room, and that's going to allow the 23 car to put himself back up into the third spot. Jared Hughes, though, is still knocking on that back bumper to try and find a way around as they roll through these last few corners, Andrew. Hughes has lost a little bit of ground, but it looks like he might be able to get it back if he just keeps a hold of the line he's been running.
Well, look at that. All that mess up ahead. One car backwards. That was Caden Perkins. He gets out of the way. He has fallen now one lap down, as has Evan Patinko. There's Perkins getting that car righted. Wingerden and Wolfsford now fight. That's a pass for Wolfsford to get back up ahead of the one car. Gray Walker now lies ahead. There is action all over the racetrack, Zach.
And how about the
Patinko's at the wall hard. He continues on, but he got the wall pretty good. And problems now for Richard Wolsifer. That engine is expiring. It's on its way out. It's smoking. He'll be lucky to make it back to the pits.
I was about to say, what happened to Wolsifer? I heard some call out over the driver radio, and I didn't particularly know what had happened. I was sitting there in a bit of a confusion.
That is going to be it for Richard Wolsifer here tonight. He might be able to get back on track and salvage some points, Zach, but I think this is going to bring an end to his championship campaign. And he's not the only chase driver, I think, losing it after tonight.
Well, I think in Wolsifer's case,
Let's
other
listen.
chasers
Let's
having
listen
a
here.
today should be good.
Third gear. Fourth. He got in deep. Way deep. Wow.
What an amazing job to stay off of Gray Walker. Walker piles in a little late, but that could have been so much worse for Gray Walker. And to be perfectly honest, Andrew, that's my nomination, Gray Walker, for lucky performance, lucky break of the day.
Check it out here. See just how quickly Wolfsford was closing in. That had to have scared Gray into making that small mistake to get into him there at the end. But all things considered, it could have been so much worse for Gray Walker. Let's watch that one more time, this time from Walker's perspective. This is going to be a little bit scary. He's going to come up on the left side, right here.
Oh, baby.
And then he's got Wiggett on the left, and yeah, just kind of ran to the back of him. That's okay, though.
Hard to see where the 56 is going through the smoke, but great job by Gray Walker to not get much more damage than he had gotten. Now we resume back up front, Stallings, Maddox, and Hughes. Not really separated by too much. You've got Stallings a second up on Maddox. Couple attempts to separate Hughes and Brendan Maddox. There they are, all in camera shot, fighting it out for stage points. And, you know, the storylines just keep mounting at this point, Andrew, because there's so many different aspects falling into place now. Brandvold could potentially quite really win the stage here. Stallings is going to end up second, Maddox third, and Hughes fourth. At the moment, they're still fighting it out, but if we're playing the points out correctly at the moment, all of the top 6 are getting stage points, plus Gray Walker in 10th, so there's your stage points right there. You've got Wolsifer out, you've got, excuse me, you've got Wolsifer out right now, and then you've got Carl Pooler. Well, Carl Pooler's not in the chase, but he's a little bit further down as well. He was one of the guys that was trying to have a good run up front. It's really just all starting to change around. Camper not being here obviously plays into it as well. There's just so many different aspects falling into place right now.
A lot going on for sure. Also want to mention, Zach, we have not yet looked at the weather conditions. Let's do that here. 67 degrees in the skies, 73 on track, an overcast day. It's a cool day. The track should be plenty grippy. These guys, frankly, are just overstepping it a little bit as Jared Hughes was nearly in the back end there of Brendan Maddox. By the way, that I believe was the mark. Usually it's 2 to go when pits close. No real takers. Everybody that's racing stays on the racetrack, so everybody's going for it.
That they are, and it just hit me because his strategy is always to play it safe. How about Sam Dyer? The guys that he needs to be finishing in front of are quickly falling behind him. His strategy is still working for him even in the chase, and he's not even in the running for stage points right now.
No, he's 15th, 1 lap down behind Braxton Skinner, Dakota Bly, and Evan Batinko, also sitting a lap down. But here we go, Zachary Brandvold will round to the final corner here in just a moment and take the stage white flag. He has now got 1 lap to go before the end of stage number 1. So, one more time around the 2.14-mile street course here in Chicago, and Zachary Brandvold will have one of his very first stage wins ever in the BRB Racing League. This would be for 10 big ol' smackaroos. The only problem, Zach, is Dustin Stallings sits right behind him.
That he does, and even just 1 or 2 points, Andrew, it always makes a difference. 1 or 2 points can make or break a season. Oh my goodness, tongue-tied right there. Maximize the points as much as you can as Cameron Carden moves out of the way for the leader. That puts him another lap down, make it 7 for that 21 car. Moving out of the way is Sam Dyer. That's 2 laps down for him now, but still in the running. Looking a little bit further back, Hughes is trying to make one last gas. He gets right up on the bumper of Brendan Maddox. There's Stallings right up in front of him. They've closed a lot on Brandvold after moving through this lap traffic, and a big move by Jared Hughes. He's going to stick the nose in there. He can't quite get it.
Hughes still looking for that 3rd spot, wants that 1 extra point, wants to hold Maddox back a little bit. Just can't quite get there. He's going to have 2 more opportunities here at 11 and 12 to try and get to the back end of that 23 car. This will be his last chance for stage 1. Not a great exit on turn 11. Can he get there in turn 12? Answer is going to be no. He will not get to the back end of the 23 car. Here goes the 55. There's the caution. Stage 1 win goes to Zach Brandvold. The driver 55 gets it done here in the first stage of the evening. There's the iRacing.com Porsche safety car rolling out onto the racetrack. I'll bring everything down to a halt. The 10 drivers earning stage points will be Zachary Brandvold, Dustin Stallings, Brendan Maddox, Jared Hughes, Johnny Wood, Ronnie Osmer, Christian Barnes, Zach Maddox, Braden Van Wingerden, and Gray Walker, who gets it done just over Andrew Rattel. Let's bring in, while we have this opportunity to do so, let's bring in our stage 1 winner of Zach Brandvold. Give me just one moment to dial up driver 55. Longer caution lap, Zach, so we'll go ahead and get him here before the pit stops. Zach, great run there in stage 1, obviously, to lead every lap from the pole, but how'd you get it done?
You know, just the clean air and a little bit of cautious driving. Getting around those lap cars where it was a little tricky, but glad to win that first stage for my new sponsor for this race with Whiplash Sim Cams. So.
And we're glad to be on the 55 car as well. A great looking purple Toyota Camry. This racetrack, why does it suit you?
I love road courses, man, and it takes a lot of precision, a lot of skill, and a lot of focus. So, think I have a few of those qualities. So, hopefully, I can bring it home in victory lane tonight.
And this could be big for your chase hopes. I know it's a big task to get up there to Stallings, especially with him right behind you. But how much does this improve your outlook on the rest of the chase going forward?
I'm just happy to be here. Honestly, my goal was to make the playoffs, and I did that. And now, anything extra is all gravy, man. And we got a good race going on right now.
We'll move you back up. Best of luck.
Thank you, sir.
That's Zach Brandvold leading the way here in the BRB Racing League at Chicago. And here we go. Pit stops for the entire field. At least all the lead lap cars will come in, and some lap cars as well. It'll be the 33 staying out. That is Braxton Skinner. He is a lap down, Zach, as a few more lap cars will stay out. I see Cameron Carden's pitting. He's lapped, as is Sam Dyer. So Skinner gets the waiver out, it looks like, and Dakota Bly and Evan Batinka will move up to the back end of the field. Meanwhile, everybody else comes in for service.
Look at all the smoke we're seeing coming off of pit lane. We see a couple of drivers with some blown motors. It just goes to show the brutality of the Chicago street course. We see more drivers flowing into the pit lane, and off we go. Brandvold wins the race off pit road. It's going to be Stallings and Maddox directly behind him to make up that top three. Right behind Maddox is going to fall Jared Hughes, and then Johnny Wood Jr. exits the pit lane in the 5th position. So no changing of hands amongst the top 5 cars at the moment. And speaking of Zachary Brandvold winning the race off the pit road, with those stage points and those bonus points that he has collected so far, he is quickly moving up the ladder. He's moved himself up to 4th in the standings in terms of the live points that we have courtesy of Zach King on our stage points end of the broadcast. But it's nice to see how maximizing stage points can start turning your season around.
And of course, it's going to be hard to say that he can get up there to Dustin Stallings. It would take a lot for that to happen, but it's certainly going to help him out as far as the top 12 goes, and move him up a couple spots higher. That's certainly what you want if you're in Brandvold's position. A lot of bumps here at Chicago Street Course. We got a few more bumps along the way, though, Zach. Talladega next week, also a bumpy racetrack. But California, that's where we're really going to hit some bumps. Auto Club Speedway, California Speedway, whatever you want to call it, that is a very bumpy racing surface. And boy, it's going to throw these guys for a wild loop 1 week before we crown a champion. And Zach, honestly, we were talking with Zach King a little bit earlier. I feel like we may have the champion decided. If things continue trending this way for Dustin Stallings, he could clinch it after California, maybe even going into or during California's race. So watch out for that. We could have a clinching scenario very early in the chase. Of course, it's on everybody else to keep that from happening. We'll have to wait and see. Also want to take a look at what's upcoming for us here at Pit Stop TV. We're right back here at Chicago in a couple of weeks, actually a week and a couple of days on September the 4th. But between now and then, we've also got the North American Racing League at Portland on Thursday evening this week. We go to Talladega for the BRB Racing League next Tuesday, and then the North American Racing League GT3 cars head right here to Chicago for their first time ever at this venue. It'll be race 7 of their season of 8 races on September the 4th.
I'm certainly looking forward to NARL taking their turn on the Chicago Street Course. That's going to be a fun one to watch. You can always follow along on social media, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of great stuff on social media showcasing all of the great racing here on Pitstop TV. PitstopTV.com, Facebook.com/PitstopTV, Instagram.com/pit_stop_TV, TikTok.com/PitstopTV1. And Andrew took away my graphic, and I don't have anything memorized right now. My brain's fried.
Well, I saw something happen to Christian Barnes just now.
He is gone.
Yeah, I want to see what happened here. Is it just a straight up drop, or did he hit something? What happened? Here he is under pacing. Did he gas it up awkwardly or something? I mean, what happens here? Slows down. This looks like... I don't know, actually. Let's see. Slowed way down and just pulls over.
You're in a PC problem on Barnes's end, but that's going to be detrimental, Andrew. That's going to be huge.
That's another
He
chase
just
driver.
got stage points. He is sitting 6th in the standings as we run right now. He's tied with Johnny Wood Jr. after the results of that stage. So this is going to be a real shakeup. You know who this is going to benefit, though? Sam Dyer. The strategy continues to work, even in the chase.
I don't know, Zach. He actually towed to the pit lane.
Oh.
It sounds like he might be done.
Oh no.
A lot of drivers kind of almost protesting the racetrack choice.
I see
a
no
lot of
meatball
them.
flag.
Well, he pulled over and towed, it seems, so he might be done for the night. We'll wait and see for Sam Dyer. It seems like a lot of drivers grappling with this track choice. Yeah, it's gonna be a rough one the rest of the night for sure. We still got a long ways to go. In fact, we're nearly two-thirds of the way to go, so nearly 1/3 in as we come back around to the restart zone this time by to get this race restarted here. There you see South Columbus Drive coming up for these drivers. They'll make that hard right-hand turn. The iRacing.com safety car will head to the relative safety of pit lane, and we will get this Whiplash SimCams Grand Prix back underway. Green flag back in the air here at Chicago. Oh, Brandvold kind of carries the 00 into the wall. How's this going to go for turn 2? It's going to be tight.
Jared Hughes had a bit of a lockup going into turn number 1, and as they roll, Brandvold continues to lead. He's got about 2 car lengths over Dustin Stallings. Jared Hughes moves himself into the 3rd spot, but here comes Brendan Maddox back on the inside line. Is he going to send it on his teammate? He will not. They stay side by side. A little bit of contact right there, almost putting Jared Hughes into the tire barrier. Now they get single file rolling onto South Columbus Drive. It's still the Brandvold show out in front.
Brandvold, Stallings, Maddox again, then Hughes, then Osmer, Wood, the other Maddox, Rattel, and Wingerton. Stallings around and right in front of the field.
What was that you said about
Look at Osmer.
Card? Look at Hughes. Hughes has got front end damage now. Brandvold has damage.
He got the wall big time. This could be it for Zach Brandvold. He's got a bunch of damage.
Looking at our race control scoring pylon, Brandvold does not have a pit for repair flag. Let's see what he elects to do.
Here comes Hughes. Here comes Maddox.
3 wide into
Hughes
the corner.
On the inside. A big send to Jared Hughes. Here comes Ronnie Osmer in all of this. What is going on?
What has happened in this race, Andrew? We talked about it. Drivers coming to grips with what's going on. Now it's all Jared Hughes. Maddox gets a big slide out of turn number 1, catches the car. Everything is flipped on its head. Brandvold still out on the racetrack. He's trying to keep going. Zachary Maddox runs wide. Johnny Wood Jr. gets on through. Now Andrew Rattel is into the top 10. Braden Van Wingerden, Dustin Stallings is still in 9th, and Braxton Skinner is your top 10.
Absolute insanity. If it wasn't crazy enough already, it has gotten even crazier here on the first lap of stage number 2. Let's go back. Let's see what just happened. This is going to go back a whole lap to the Dustin Stallings incident in turn number 6. Watch him. He's racing ahead there of Brendan Maddox and Jared Hughes into turn 4. Maddox makes that pass. Stallings should be relatively pressure-free and all eyes up on Brandvold, but then Brandvold and Stallings both have problems.
See Brandvold just up in front.
This is Stallings here to turn 6.
Zone.
That's where Brandvold had his problem too. So you know
That's
what,
what
Zach?
I was thinking.
Oh, and Rattel just barely gets by. You know what I think might have happened? I think Brandvold might have missed the braking zone, and Stallings followed him.
Reacted.
So let's watch Brandvold here into the braking zone. He gets in deep. Big
Really
hit. Wow. How did we not see that at first? And then Stallings spins around. Let's see, from the double O's perspective, this is Dustin Stallings. And Brandvold has just taken his car to the pit lane.
I think this is just a reaction out of Stallings. He sees the car up in the wall. He needs to turn left to avoid. He doesn't know if Brandvold's going to shoot back across the track. Maddox gets a piece. Hughes gets a piece. Rattel. Wow. Stallings was moving to get back turned around, and Rattel was going around him.
Slow down. I wonder... It's hard to tell watching it from that kind of view, but I wonder if Stallings was watching, because this is something I found myself doing when I race a lot, Zach, is, you know, watching the car ahead as a reference. So I wonder if Stallings watched Brandvold kind of brake late and followed him and did the same exact thing, and that's what put him in a bind. Of course, Stallings less damage for sure, as Brandvold's now in the pit lane, likely out of the race, or at least close to it. There he is taking repairs. This is going to be a disaster scenario for him. All that I can think, though, Zach, as far as the points go, this is right back in Stallings' hands, because, I mean, Maddox, sure, he's going to gain some points, but Stallings already outscored him in stage 1. I don't think anybody's going to make inroads on that lead.
Drivers stalling out at this point throughout the course of the race is really starting to help out a little bit more. Evan Patinko's moved up the field for it as well. Brendan Maddox, that was a hit. Oh my goodness. See some heavy left front damage on that race car. Man, he is really starting to work those hands as well.
These guys are just going a little too crazy, a little too hard in the paint, frankly. I think they're overdriving a little bit. And here comes Ronnie Osmer. Maddox has got problems.
Yeah, you see him locking up a little bit more. He's starting to struggle with that race car. There's Ronnie Osmer taking a look to his left side. You know, I really have to get better when it's being at road courses and street courses. It's drivers left and drivers right. There's no inside and outside. Because inside is left, outside is right. Road course terminology from when I've done road course racing, it's a little tricky. As Maddox taps the wall twice, goes defensive, pins Osmer, gets by anyway.
Osmer goes by. There's still an inside and outside. It just changes every other corner as Maddox falls back. Osmer moves up, and Osmer is now second place, but 4.5 seconds back of your race leader, Jared Hughes.
I don't know. Starting to play in.
I don't know that Jared Hughes can revive his 84-point deficit.
85 now.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen, but certainly would like to see him try, and he's given it a shot this evening now, leading here in stage 2. He's going to do his best to at least move up as high as he can here in the chase standings. I don't know that he gets up to Stallings at all. That's a tall order now, but certainly going to give it a shot.
We talked about Jared Hughes at the start of this race, Andrew, and how potentially he could set himself up for a monumental race and a rebound. He's sitting 12th in the standings, Andrew, and he was bottom of the barrel rolling into this race. There's so much that could happen after rolling out of Nashville. It was pretty much we had him written off, but now he's trying to show that he is still in this fight. And with the wild card of Talladega coming up next week, could really turn it could turn into another story, turn into a whole new storyline.
Watching Braden Van Wingerden, Braxton Skinner, Cameron Gilmore, who's lapped, and Gray Walker. 4 cars all in a group as here comes Walker to go by Gilmore. Walker sitting in the 10th position behind Braxton Skinner, his teammate. Look now at Zachary Maddox. He has found himself just behind Dustin Stallings. I think Stallings moving his way through. Andrew Rattel in the distance. has found himself in 7th, and things have really calmed down for the time being. The best battle on the racetrack is right here.
Getting on board. Braxton Skinner's just trying to see if he can't find a way to move forward anymore. I feel like we're really starting to settle in now, Andrew, and that's really probably stupid of me to say. I'm going to knock on wood for that one. But I think we're really starting to settle into a different kind of run here with how these drivers are shaping up going into the end of Stage 2, rolling into Stage 3. I think it's really just time to consider being a little bit more patient, especially seeing everything we've seen so far. Let's just be patient. Let's get to the end of the stage. Then we can either say get aggressive or really start hunkering down on the strategy that we're choosing to roll with.
Watching this fight here between Skinner and Van Wingerden, and you can listen to Braxton Skinner. It just sounds choppy in the braking zones. He's battling the car, wanting to hop, skip, and jump over the bump sack. And he's actually going to pull over and let somebody through, it seems like. I think that's going to be Gray Walker.
Yeah, Gray Walker and Cameron Gilmore sitting here in the mix. Gilmore is laps down still. He's 3 laps down at the moment. As Skinner falls back in line, there you see Sam Dyer re-entering the racetrack.
Whoa, Braden Van
Wingerden's
Wingerden. Around to turn number 2, and that has been the story of the day. A car being around out of a corner up ahead or whatever happening, so problems here for Van Wingerden. Let's see what happened to the number 1 car. Just lost it.
Just got in too hot. Hey, kept it out of the wall, though. That was really good. He tapped it a little bit with the rear end. That could have been a lot worse for that driver. This one driver we haven't talked about a lot tonight. That's Johnny Wood Jr. He's sitting in the 4th spot. He's had a quiet night. He's missed all of the big incidents that have gone on, and he's really starting to work himself into a good spot. He's fighting Brendan Maddox right now for that 3rd position. Maddox has lost a lot of ground to Ronnie Osmer, 12 seconds behind the race leader, and that equates to about 5 seconds behind Ronnie Osmer. And now he's looking to lose even more ground with Johnny Wood Jr. closing in quite quickly.
So for those of you watching across the internet this evening, whether it's Facebook, Twitch, or YouTube, it does seem we're encountering some connection hiccups. It seems like it's all ISP based, otherwise internet service provider based, and out of our control. So we've started a backup recording just in case, but it does seem that it's beyond our control right now. You're seeing iRacing, of course. We're not having issues in iRacing. We're just having issues with the stream going out. So that is indicative of some sort of ISP issue on Spectrum's side, and it's hard to say exactly what. Somebody could have hit a pole, I don't know, but here's the battle for the 3rd place. Johnny Wood Jr. pulling up on Brendan Maddox, and Dustin Stallings is right behind.
Stallings looking to rebound after that spin. He doesn't have a lot of damage on that race car, so he can still keep his dog in this fight. Boy, that's an expression I haven't used in a long time. But Stallings is now working on that 75 car of Johnny Wood Jr. And you got to think, Andrew, you saw it in Stage 1, and based on the damage, could we see it here in Stage 2, Brendan Maddox being the good teammate and letting his teammate go once he gets by Johnny Wood Jr.?
Well, I think that was simply Brendan felt slower at that point in time. Well, Brendan's in the wall, and Johnny's with him. There's a spin for Brendan Maddox. It's now a moot point, as that is a massive, massive hit for Brendan Maddox. He's stopped. He's now getting rolling, but he's got a ton of damage. He's done.
That race car looks destroyed. Look at the wheel, Andrew. Look at how much he has to put into it. I see no meatball flag for the 23 car, and that is surprising. Look at that. His hands are at, I want to say, that's 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock now.
That's just his left hand.
Yeah.
That's his left hand is that far over. The top of the steering wheel is down around 5 o'clock somewhere. I guess it is always 5 o'clock somewhere. So, anyways,
Wow.
Brendan Maddox, big problems
That was
here.
actually a good one.
Yeah, this is not what he wants.
Look at how much those wheels are kicked out to the right. And he's going to tap the wall here again. I would be surprised if he keeps it out there until the stage caution. I would commend him for it, absolutely, to try and keep himself on the lead lap. Do whatever you can to save your race, but, oh, dang, that's a big hit right there. The damage already started and compounded from the hit, and then Johnny Wood Jr. coming into the frame. That really set it off.
Watching this here for Brendan Maddox into turn 1, some right front lockup, carried him into the corner, and he was along for the ride, and it's just guys pushing the issue tonight, right on the edge of what this car and track can handle.
And you really can't blame...
Unfortunately, Brendan found the edge.
I was going to say, you really can't blame Johnny for getting into him here. That's just a hit that he didn't see coming. And Maddox kept it on the wall. Kudos to him. He kept it in a position that was easy to notice, but this is on board with Johnny Wood Jr. The reaction time he needed to miss that was just not available to him.
Yeah, Johnny tried to get up out of the gas and stay out of the 23 car, but at that point it was too late. So there went the 23 around, and Dustin Stallings has since backed off. Stallings is now 9 seconds back of Johnny Wood Jr., so something else happened to Stallings. It's too late now to see exactly what happened, but problems for Stallings. He's now in 4th place, 9 seconds back of Johnny Wood Jr., and it is a 10-second gap at the front of the field for Jared Hughes. He'll come around the next time by and take the final lap here in stage number 2. A rough night all around. The entire league, it seems like, has had a problem at some point tonight. We got through stage 1, and it seemed like there were 5 or 6 drivers that had this place down, and then stage 2 began, and everything was out the window, Zach.
And it's really reflecting at the moment. Look at that. Dakota Bly is in for stage points. He's in 10th, and he's a lap down. He's fighting with Zachary Branvold right now to get that free pass position. Branvold only 1 lap down. There he is coming into frame right behind this 25 car. That's the fight for the free pass at the end of the stage. Bly is going to have to fight for his life, and Branvold is fighting for his championship hopes. The rest of the competition is starting to drop like flies, and he cannot afford to let Dustin Stallings walk away with further points on him, and at the moment, even just 1 point would be amazing for Zachary Branvold, considering Stallings is poised to get 7.
Branvold looking for it here in turn 12 to end that lap, and he'll just poke to the inside of the number 25 car. They'll get side by side now on the front straightaway as Osmer comes around the corner behind them. Osmer's second. Up ahead of these guys is Jared Hughes, who has taken the final lap here of stage number 2. This is the best battle on the racetrack. The next best would be Andrew Rattel and Gray Walker. Here they are. These guys are also pretty close.
Bit of a separation here, probably about 3-4 car lengths between the two of them. But Walker has been consistently good so far tonight. He's kept clean, well, he's kept relatively clean. I'm going to knock on wood on that one too. You see the nose damage on that 18, but he's definitely in a better position than most. As we take another look back, this is the battle for that last stage point and for the free pass. When the caution flag flies, Jared Hughes is quickly making his way around. There's Ronnie Osmer right behind these two. That's your second place car. And there's the move.
And there goes Branvold around the outside of Dakota Bly. It sounds like there was an issue missed for Jared Hughes. It sounds like Cameron Carden might have turned the 98 car at some point. Unsure if that was this past lap or exactly when that was, but Hughes was up by 10 seconds. He's now only up by 7 seconds And I would have to imagine, considering Hughes has been lapping faster than Ronnie Osmer, that had to have been this pass lap that happened. There is Jared Hughes. He will end stage 2 ahead of the field. He will win the second stage of this Whiplash SimCams Grand Prix, and we're waiting on the caution to come out. It should have been there. No caution yet. It should have come on. There it is. There's the yellow for the stage. It'll be Hughes, Osmer, Wood. Stallings actually might have just had a problem. I wonder if that's going to count for the stage or not. I don't think it will. Oh, but Zach, I think he's done.
Oh, no. No way.
He's got a ton of damage, and frankly, if the caution had come out sooner, this might not have happened. I think he cooked it at the very last second before the caution came out. I mean, it's all on him, but man.
That's a heavy blow.
That is a massive hit for somebody who we thought was nearly bulletproof here tonight. Big hit. But this is that opportunity, and now realistically, I think Zach is going to be an opportunity for Ronnie Osmer. This is that opportunity all of these guys wanted and needed. This will also, Zach, affect the fuel mileage here for stage 3. Everybody's going to go one lap deeper now because of when they're catching up to the pace car. This could help everybody out, not have to pit.
It could. That could save a lot of races here. The shakeup is real. That's the best way to put it at the moment.
A wild race. This has been chaos from the drop of the green flag. The top 10 that I think we're going to have is Stallings has got left front and left rear damage. You can see both wheels not doing what they should be doing. The top 10, I believe, is going to be Hughes, Osmer, Wood, and then I think it'll be Stallings. Then Zachary Maddox took a top 5 in stage 2. Andrew Rattel, Gray Walker, Braxton Skinner, Braden Van Wingerden, and Zachary Brandvold gets the final stage point position. There is Stallings. Yeah, he brought it straight to the pit lane, Zach. He's going to be done for a while. Maybe the rest of the race.
This is going to be huge. This is going to be absolutely massive for drivers like Zachary Brandvold, who was having such a great night, had damage as well. Brendan Maddox, you see him right there in front of Stallings. Maverick Motorsports is not having a good night. That is to say the least. I think the only driver they still have on the racetrack right now is Zach Maddox. And Zach Maddox is currently sitting, if I'm not mistaken, he's sitting 4th right now.
Yeah, you got that top 5 from the stage that I mentioned. So let's go back and let's see if we can find what happened to Jared Hughes with Cameron Carden. Where's the 21 at this point? He is ahead. So let's watch here for turn 1. Let's speed it up a little bit. And we'll get Hughes on the back end of the stage yellow. So this is going to be coming around to the final corner. Carden is up ahead. He's just spun around out of turn 12. So watch here. Here comes Hughes into frame. As Carden missed the corner. Yep.
Oh my.
That's a really big stain on the race for Carden. You never, ever, as a lapped car, want to make a mistake that leads to the spin of the leader. That is the one driver you do not hit if you're lapped.
Thankfully,
well, the teammates,
that leader had a really good lead.
Teammates and the leader. And here's one more look at it. We'll come back to live picture with pit stops. Carden just made a mistake. I mean, he just got in deep, locked up, got right into the 98 car. Thankfully, as you said, yes, Jared Hughes had a 10-second lead to fall back on, but still not what you want there. Here we go. Pit stops across the board. Hughes going to be the first one down and away, followed up by Johnny Wood Jr. That could be a huge battle off the pit lane. Johnny Wood Jr. gets it over Ronnie Osmer, over Zachary Maddox, and we'll be talking to our Stage 2 winner. That is, of course, Jared Hughes. He'll be coming up to us here in just one moment after getting himself 10 stage points here in stage number 2. And again, Zach, you know, it's a long road to hoe for Jared Hughes, but got to start somewhere. I don't know that it's going to get rid of that 80 point gap for you, Jared, but it's certainly a start, a big stage 2 win. How'd you get it done?
Well, it makes it kind of easy when the 3 guys that were faster than you all wreck, so I can't give myself too much credit. I just trying to keep the car clean and not wreck.
Well, you had to be in the right spot, first of all, and you had to keep going without crashing, secondly, and that seems to be the name of the game. If you can just be somewhat quick and not hit a wall, I think you're in business. Can you keep that up these last 30 laps?
I think I can. I'm having a lot of fun. I wasn't really enjoying the track at first, but now that I'm getting more comfortable with it and, you know, the car's staying in the air 90% of the time, I'm starting to have a little bit more fun now.
And of course, you're a dirt racer, right? From Nebraska. I mean, this is not exactly what would be expected to be your cup of tea. Why the street course?
You know, that's a good question, because we started doing these in our first road course. I just practiced a little bit. I just had so much fun. I love racing the next gen on road courses for some reason. It's one of my favorite things to do on here.
And of course, it's been an out of the ordinary season for Next Level Racing. Of course, Gavin part-time, Steven and Adam in the admin booth. So this could be huge for the team as a whole. You know, what has it been like? How different has it been this season compared to seasons past?
It's a little difficult not having your teammates there. I mean, I hang out with them in Discord while they're doing their things, but I'm deaf during the race. You know, they really try not to help me or anything, just to keep it professional. So Adam won last night, and him and his wife had to go to the doctors for something, so prayers to them. I hope he's watching, and I hope he feels pretty good.
Adam has definitely been watching so far. I can't say that he's watching right now necessarily, but has been watching, so I'm sure that message is received, and certainly wished our best to the Buzzios this evening as they're going through a difficult time. But Jared, stage 2 win, that's big for you. Keep it up. Hopefully we're talking to you later.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
We'll move Jared Hughes back up to his teammates, or associates we'll call it, as he's up in the driver chat this evening with Richard Wolsifer and Johnny Wood Jr. So we'll move him back up there and let him get back to work here, Zach. This is going to be an interesting run to the end. Now, they had that one extra lap of caution. I think these guys will be good on fuel as long as they're saving here under this caution. So this should be a straight-up race. Do we have any expectations left?
If, and I mean if, Jared Hughes wins this race, 49 race winless streak that he's going to break. That's my expectation. I want to see that 49 race winless streak get broken. Last time that Jared Hughes has won a race was race 2 of season 2, and that was at Richmond Raceway on a short track. So that would be a real different ball game to be winning on a road course.
That's right. He has never won a race in the Pit Stop TV era of the BRB Racing League BRB Buttkicker Cup Series. So this could be a big deal for Jared Hughes this evening. There have been plenty of races that maybe look like it could have been that day for him. Could today be the day for Jared Hughes and the number 98 Next Level Racing, or Next Level Motorsports Ford Mustang Dark Horse? While we take this extra lap around the racetrack, I want to give a big thank you to our partners with the BRB Racing League. Of course, the Buttkicker, Ascendance Trucks, Idealies, Sundance Pizza, Performance Food Group, and Maddox Graphics, now MX Wraps, all doing so much for this series, allowing this series to take place and allowing it to be here on Pit Stop TV. It has been an amazing run so far for Season 4, and we still have plenty of racing to go. Thank you to all these partners, and we cannot wait to see the rest of these runs through Season number 4. I'll do it right now for this caution, though, as the iRacing.com safety car Comes back around to the relative safety of pit lane, and here we go, Zach, all over again. Green flag coming up in the restart zone for Jared Hughes. There's the green flag. We're racing once again in the Whiplash SimCam's Grand Prix of Chicago. Ronnie Osmer, a big hole shot restart, gets out ahead of Johnny Wood Jr. and is hounding Jared Hughes already.
It seems like the only time that you're going to gain anything is on these restarts. A couple of cars tagged the wall back there. That was Andrew Rattel, who's up in the 5th spot, side by side for the 2nd place spot. Johnny Wood Jr. to the inside. Well, driver's right of Ronnie Osmer. Switching back is the 15. That was a really big wiggle. Gets there. Zach Maddox is into the mix. He's going to have to check up a little bit. That's going to prevent Andrew Rattel from gaining any spots, but he's still going to be there. Osmer with a big switch. Goes to the left side. Deep into the braking zone.
Oh, Zach Maddox!
And Johnny Wood Jr.
Stuffs the 75 in the barrier. That's it for Johnny Wood as far as the race win is going to go. He gets that car looped back around with a bunch of front and rear end damage, and it's not over. Here we go, Zach Maddox, Gray Walker, Braxton Skinner, and more. That's going to be a big crash, maybe. No, just the one car. That is Zach Maddox turned around. What was a career night for the Maddox brother has turned into disaster, and not just for himself.
Another Maverick Motorsports car having a terrible run tonight. And I hate to say that, too, because Zach Maddox, like you said, has had a career night. He was doing really great. He was up into the 4th spot. Now, he's way down the running order. He's down into 8th. Johnny Wood Jr. falls to the 10th spot. While they're still in the top 10, you could still call that a great day. That's just... it's terrible to see. As Brandvold, with the right front missing on that race car, is making moves up into the 6th spot now in front of Braden Van Wingerden. He's trying his hardest to claw back a potential race win.
Well, let's go back and see what happened there in turn 6. We were watching Zach Maddox very closely at the end of stage 2, and again here at the beginning of stage 3, he was right behind this little battle between Ronnie Osmer and Johnny Wood Jr. Zach had a great opportunity, and it looks just like those issues we saw at the beginning of stage 2, right? Cold tires come back down here, and the brakes are not heated up, the tires aren't heated up, you just get in deep, and he stuffs Johnny Wood Jr. deep in the turn 6 barrier. That is likely it for Johnny's day. He might be able to continue, but it's going to be at a very significantly slower pace. And here comes Maddox around turn 5, or was that 7, I guess, and loops around.
Well, Maddox nor Johnny Wood Jr. but have meatball flags. The only drivers that have meatball flags at the moment are Richard Wolsifer, Coulter Clark, who is actually just elected to take his leave from the race tonight, and Cameron Carden with a meatball flag at the moment. They are the only ones with damage too much to continue in this event. Obviously, you've got Stallings and Brendan Maddox just about out of this race as well. But even after this hit, Johnny Wood Jr. and Zach Maddox should be able to keep it rolling.
And there's a pass made by Zachary Brandvold to get back into the top 5. That puts him ahead of Braxton Skinner. This is going to be, and car parked. That's Caden Perkins out of the pit lane. An odd place to be, but I think he's waiting for the field to go by before he rolls, maybe? Yes. So he was letting everybody go by before he got back going, and problems for Jared Hughes ahead. He has fallen back to Ronnie Osmer. Is it problems for Jared or a big run all of a sudden for Ronnie?
Hard to tell. Hard to tell. As Osmer has clawed his way up there. And I kind of wanted to bring this up earlier. I didn't get the chance to segue into it. But, Ronnie and Kyle Heath are, they're the 2 rookie standouts. And Osmer is leading the rookie standings, the Rookie of the Year standings at the moment. So he's having a great run throughout the season so far. We've already talked about there are a number of races that he really should have had a little bit more winning pace, or even should have been in victory lane a couple of times more than what he has already. I just think that he is really starting to stand out as this chase rolls on. Osmer at the moment as well, based on points, is second as they run. He's 38 points behind Dustin Stallings. You talked about Stallings potentially locking up this championship before the season's over. Oh my goodness, Brendan Maddox!
Yeah, that's going to be Brendan Maddox done for the day. That is a massive hit in turn 1. Yeah, I was just going to comment once you were done with your point that I saw him in the background of one of the shots. He was back on the racetrack, but this is going to be it for the 23 car. It looks okay at this point, right? It's been repaired and whatnot. I think this is another matter of cold tires, cold brakes, down to a heavy braking zone corner. Just got deep, got behind the braking, and boom, right for the concrete barrier. He's done.
Immediately toes. Oh my goodness.
And frankly, depending on where Dustin finishes, I mean, Dustin is 13th. Dustin's ahead of him. So this is what Brendan needed to not do in order to try and make points up on Dustin. Stallings is ahead of him as they stand, and they're both parked in the pit lane. Boy, what a day this has been. Sam Dyer's back on the racetrack, though, I will say. Has been back on the racetrack for a handful of laps now. He is 9 laps down, but looking to pass Brendan Maddox next lap around. That could be a big spot. If anybody's going to do it at this point, Zach, it's going to be Ronnie Osmer. And what do I mean? I mean for the championship. If anybody's going to do it, he's the only guy. How far back is he right now after stages 1 and 2?
Currently, at the moment, he's just 38 points back. This is what I was trying to build on before Brendan Maddox had his incident. 38 points back is Osmer. Then you have rolling through the rest of the chase standings, you've got 39 points back is Brendan Maddox. Then 49 points back is Zachary Brandvold, and 52 points back is Kyle Heath. And Braxton Skinner has just had an incident. He has got some big damage on that race car.
Oh my goodness. There go a couple of members of the Skittle Squad going on by. Cameron Gilmore and Braden Van Wingerden, but this is a big problem for Braxton Skinner. This seems to be turn 1 where it's gone awry for him, and yes, that'll be the case. Let's see what happened here. That's turn 12. Ahead of Zach Maddox. Is another case of getting deep into turn 1. It looks like it, yes. Way deep. Boom, barrier.
How about Gray Walker with another miss on a driver missing a braking zone? If I had a nickel for every time a driver got missed in a braking zone by someone who missed a braking zone, I'd have 2 nickels. Which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice.
You'd have more than 2 as far as any driver. As far as Gray Walker goes, yes, you would have 2, and that would be a strange coincidence.
I was trying to make a Phineas and Ferb joke, man.
No, it tracks for Gray Walker. It does. You're right. But, that's not the headline that Gray Walker wants to have this evening. That said, Gray is running 5th. And while he does have a win now under his belt from Indianapolis, this could be a nearly career day for Gray Walker to finish in the top 5. Not many stage points for Gray, but looking like a decent result on the way as Zachary Brandvold has moved into 4th. And you know who's in the top 3, Zach?
Andrew Rattel.
Yes. Andrew Rattel has moved into the top 3, a driver for Southern Excitement Racing. He's got sheets on the hood and side of that car. Been a lot of conversation lately in the BRB Racing League Discord about the best gas station out there, and you can tell how Andrew Rattel feels, that's for sure, as he's got the sheets colors made to order specifically for him on the side of that number 6 car. It does look good. I'm a Wawa guy personally. I was converted last year when I went up to Jersey for the first time and got to experience a proper Jersey Wawa. Then I went down to Florida later in the year and experienced the Florida Wawa, and it's just as good. I'm sorry, Zach. I'm a Wawa guy. I know you're going to be a Sheets guy, but I'm a Wawa guy personally. And Buc-ee's.
Well,
don't get me started on Buc-ee's. Buc-ee's is great, but Buc-ee's is a whole other category.
Buc-ee's, as I've been told, I got to experience it for the first time when I went down for the ARCA Series test at Daytona. Buc-ee's, as they say, is an experience. That's the best way to put it when it comes to Buc-ee's. But I'm gonna play devil's advocate. I'm gonna bring a little chaos here. I think Buc-ee's is just Sheets, but at a higher level. Just saying.
Well, Buc-ee's isn't so much made to order. That's the thing. I don't want to go too far on this tangent, but I will speak my mind. Buc-ee's it's great, it's very specific in what they do and what they do right, which is a lot of things, I will say. But it's a whole other experience. It's practically the Walmart of gas stations. It's its own thing. But anyways, I digress. We're watching the top two right now as we have 20 laps to go. Ronnie Osmer chasing Jared Hughes. And we talk about career days all the time, Zach. Jared Hughes needing one here this weekend, or I guess this week rather, leading the way here at Chicago Street Course. This could be a big and welcome surprise. This has the kind of feeling that Alex Bowman did winning here in 2024, frankly.
Bowman winning here was quite the shot out of left field, I'll tell you. You know what, Andrew, while we're on it, let's build on some career days here. Andrew Rattel, we just talked about him. He's having a career day himself. He's sitting in that third spot. He's up from 22nd. 23 cars took the grid. 24 joined for this session. And Andrew Rattel started second to last out of all the cars that took the green flag. And he is up to third right now. That is saying something out of that 6 car. Jared Hughes, obviously, having a career day at the moment. Hasn't won in 49 races, almost making it a perfect 50 on a winless streak. And then let's bring up the fact of the last road course that we had. That was not too long ago.
It was back in
at
June.
Circuit of the Americas. Yeah, Circuit of the Americas was when we had our most recent road course race. And if we're looking at who finished second, he's sitting in the second spot. That's Ronnie Osmer.
Quickly checking on what was nearly a pass, Christian Barnes and Braden Van Wingerden. But yes, there's a reason that, because I get to make the selections for the Who You Got graphic. There's a reason Ronnie Osmer and Johnny Wood Jr. were on that graphic. They were the top finishers at COTA that were racing for points. Mason Houseman, Gavin Rogers not in it for points this season. Osmer and Wood, they finished well at COTA. I expected them to be good again here this evening. I did not expect this kind of run out of Jared Hughes. I did not expect the kind of run that we saw from Brandvold or from Maddox or from Stallings. But Osmer feels like an expectation to be towards the front. He's been good everywhere this season. He has got this car figured out, I think, better than most. This track, though, he started off slow. I think that's been the name of the game, kind of tortoise and hare kind of thing. The hares have all worked themselves out. The tortoises are starting to come in.
I've had my fair share of races with Ronnie Osmer, and I finished in front of him and I finished behind him, and I can say for certain, based off of what we've seen so far this season, based off of the times that I've had the pleasure of racing on the same racetrack as him, he's a very consistent all-round driver. You've got drivers that have strengths in road courses. You've got the road course. Oh my goodness, he almost proved me wrong there for a moment.
He got the wall in a pretty bad spot, actually, Zach. He might have damage.
He's still trucking.
That's relatively straight there into turn 11. Watch it here to turn 12. It's relatively straight. Let's go back and check exactly where he got it. I heard a crunch, and it did not sound like a very good crunch. Not a Nestle bar, that's for sure.
Wow.
So here's the onboard with Ronnie Osmer. Let's just listen. Let's us shut up and just listen here. Right there.
Ooh, yeah.
And wasn't it Carson Hocevar who hit that wall, I think this year or last year?
I thought it was Bubba Wallace.
It all blends together. I rarely get to watch NASCAR races these days. I could have sworn it was a highlight with Carson Hocevar. It could have been Bubba Wallace. Regardless, that is a terrible place to hit a wall, because that could ricochet you off into the outside wall in the rest of the corner. Yeah, that was almost a really big problem for Ronnie Osmer, and that's certainly some new damage for his 15 car that he did not want to have. He was chasing down Jared Hughes, was within a second. He's now on the cusp of a second.
Yeah, he's closing that gap back in. He's not letting that damage affect him. And you were right, actually, about Carson Hocevar. He didn't hit it there. Give it a second as they roll through the wide sweeping left-hander. Not this one, but going into this right-hander right here. Hocevar clipped that right side wall and caused a traffic jam rolling over the bridge. That's what you were. That's what I'm pretty sure you were thinking of when it came to Hocevar. But Osmer rolling back up. Take a look now. Look at Zachary Brandvold. He's put himself up into the 3rd spot.
Brandvold
Have
moves
we
into
ruled him out
3rd.
too soon?
I mean, he's 25 seconds back of the leader, so we're not going to have a caution now. So he can still get a top 3, which is great for what it was, but he missed out on all those stage points there in stage number 2. That's going to be a big hit to him. He may still gain. I don't know. You've got the points sheet in front of you, Zach. I'll let you do the calculating there and let us know what the total looks like as they run, but he's still lost out big time in stage 2.
Per the stats of the race, even though he had a very commanding lead, I believe Jared Hughes has actually taken over on most laps led on the day. We were getting some word from Zach King that if Hughes made it to lap 42 and past that mark, that he would have locked up most laps led on the day. Here you see Gray Walker trying to move on by Zach Maddox. They're racing side by side. This is for the 5th spot on the racetrack right now. Walker with that inside line. Maddox keeping that car in front, trying to give Maverick Motorsports a good day still in the top 5. That 14 car. We talked about it, Andrew. Even after his spin, he's sitting in the top 5. He's still having a career day right now.
He is. This is still going to be one of the better races of his career in the BRB Racing League, but it's always going to have that bit of stain on it, I think, for him, because he had a really clean day going until that moment. And of course, he wiped out Johnny Wood Jr., who is now 5 laps down, has just got back on the racetrack a few laps ago, and runs in 11th. Now, Johnny could absolutely be in a worse spot, given what happened, but it's still not a good one to be in if you're Johnny Wood Jr. About a second separating the top 2 as we hit 15 laps to go. This is the best battle on the racetrack. Zach Maddox, Gray Walker for 5th.
Right behind them, that's Cameron Gilmore in that number 10 car. He's moved himself into the 10th spot, sitting 3 laps down at the moment. So while he's contending with these drivers contending for a top 5, he is currently sitting in that 10th spot. It's amazing to me how things have really turned on its head. Christian Barnes just went a lap down. Dakota Bly just went 2 laps down. So you've got 7 cars on the lead lap at the moment. And Gilmore sitting inside the top 10 is 3 laps down. We've got cars that are 3 laps down sitting in the top 10. I mean, that just kind of shows how much of this race has been a test of survival at this point.
This has definitely been one of the crazier BRB races that we've seen ever here at Pit Stop TV. I wouldn't be surprised if there was one crazier before we picked up coverage, or even this summer while we were away, but as far as we've seen here at the channel, this has got to be, I think, the craziest and most unexpected kind of race for sure. I really thought it was going to be a different kind of day here at Chicago. There's a bump from Gray Walker to Zach Maddox as they continue to race here for 5th place. Not much changing up ahead. When it does change, we'll go up to it. Right now, this is the best fight.
Kind of looking a little bit further down on the points a little bit. You know, you've got Dustin Stallings in the 14th position at the moment. And you've got Ronnie Osmer sitting in 2nd. So they're separated by about 12 positions right now off of points. Ronnie Osmer would walk out of here with 40 points to his total. And Dustin Stallings would walk out of here sitting 14th. He would walk out of here with about 28 points to his name. So really looking at the totals, this could change a lot of big things with Osmer trying to take that top spot away from Dustin Stallings.
And, you know, through practice, I did not think this race was going to shake too much up in the chase. This is going to shake everything up once again. Just like Nashville a week ago, this is going to take all 12 die, if you will, put them back in the Yahtzee Cup, roll again. That's what this is going to do. Everybody's going to mix all around and in new positions, I think, with the exception of Dustin Stallings. I think he will keep the points lead for sure, but by how much?
Look at Gray Walker trying to make a move around the outside in that wide sweeping corner back there. He had a really great corner, almost clipping it like Ronnie Osmer did, but it was a really, really good corner. He maximized getting close to the wall and not touching it. Tried to get a good run around Zach Maddox, but didn't exactly set it up the best spot. Just trying to see if he can't find a way around for that 5th position with just over 10 laps to go, sitting at 13 laps to go at the moment. I agree with your sentiment as well, shaking this up like a Yahtzee cup.
I think that's the best way to look at this, frankly. I think it's a Yahtzee cup. I think that's the whole field right now. Everybody's in a Yahtzee cup, and they're all their own die. Maybe we need a graphic with that going into Talladega next week, because Talladega next week I think will do the same thing. And Talladega likely, road courses are where a lot of oval leagues see their lowest car counts. I think we could see our highest since Daytona next week. We could see everybody who's still in the league this season show up. I don't think that's out of the question, quite frankly.
And higher car counts are going to contribute to a much bigger points gap should a chase driver have a bad day.
Right.
I mean, all things considered, even with Stallings and Maddox and Wolsifer having a bad day, it doesn't really take too much out of their points total. Now, Zach Maddox is in the wall.
There goes Gray Walker, pass made for 5th. Maddox has better raw speed, but he's a little less consistent. I think that's what we're seeing now. He's a little faster than Gray, but a little less consistent. And here he goes, diving. That's going to be in the wall. I don't think he gets it slowed down.
Oh, it's tight. He made it.
Parks it on Gray's nose. Hats off to you, Zach Maddox. That was a send and a half to get back by Gray Walker, but he's slow out of that corner. Here comes Gray.
I think Walker slowing down a lot more kind of contributed to the perspective of that as well, but doesn't discount what a move that was. And here he comes again. Big run to the inside. No contact made. They give each other room. It's going to be another switchback by Gray Walker with a big run here. This is shaping up to be a really good fight.
This has been a really good fight. The last handful of laps. Here we go. 12 laps to go, coming up on 11, and Gray Walker goes back around the outside, but backs out of it there. Gonna have a run now on Zach Maddox, goes to the left side of the racetrack. Gonna be on the outside now for turn 7. Had to think about that one, had to count.
Maddox got really late on the power out of that last corner. I don't think he wanted to have another incident where he flew into the tire barriers like he did with Johnny Wood Jr.
Not over.
On the bumper. Backs up the corner, gets a run. Maddox hits the wall again. You can see he's got some pretty decent left rear damage now. If he hadn't had it already at this point. And Cameron Gilmore is just sitting back there watching it all happen, thinking, I can pass these guys. Then I gotta pass them a couple more times.
Yeah, something like that as we watch on from the fan cam here. Let's just take in and appreciate the sights and sounds here at Chicago for just a moment. We'll take a step away from the mic for just a moment as well. This will be sounds of the sim. We don't do this often, but this is a special case with the Whiplash SimCam's Grand Prix of Chicago. Let's just watch the fan cam for a moment. And there you see a massive incident for Zach Maddox. He has been turned around out of turn number 11. He's still trying to get the car righted. Big problems for Zach Maddox. This just as his teammate Dustin Stallings got back on the racetrack. Let's see, does Maddox pit or does he keep going? He's going to keep going. Let's go back and see what happened.
Saw Gilmore taking the pit road, but I don't think he got a piece of that, Andrew. Might just be parking it a little bit down there on pit lane. Maybe Dustin Stallings will be able to take advantage of that.
So here's Maddox. He got loose there through 9. That's 10, now 11. He gets loose on exit. He locked up the right rear going into the corner and then just over-rotated on exit. Cameron Gilmore definitely got a piece of that.
Yeah, maybe that's why he's taking to the pit lane then. And, you know, while we're looking at the replay, Johnny Wood Jr. with a problem. Jared Hughes just went by him to put him a lap down.
Johnny is 6 laps down.
Oh, never mind then. Oh.
Remember, Johnny Wood Jr. got swept up by Zach Maddox a little while ago.
That is true.
Was parked in the pit lane for a handful of times. So that's been that problem there. Ronnie Osmer recently has lost 3.5 seconds, by the way. Let's go back and see what happened to him potentially. He was a lot closer very recently. There it is. We just caught the tail end of it. Let's see what happened here. This is turn 1. Ronnie Osmer on exit. Okay, maybe turn 2. Loose. Boom. Outside wall. So he was chasing Jared Hughes. This is the onboard. Just deep. Brought the car around. Everybody, I think everybody has had a problem tonight. At least one, if not 2.
I would be very, very surprised if anyone found a clean car on this racetrack.
The closest is our race leader, Jared Hughes.
Well, no. What about Andrew Rattel?
You raise a very good point. And you know what, Zach?
Rattel's got an immaculate car right now.
And you know what? You know what time it is?
Driver of the day?
It's that time. We can go ahead and nominate our 4 drivers, 2 apiece, as Dakota Bly gets passed up there by Andrew Rattel. Rattel sits 4th, ahead of Gray Walker, who got that 5th spot from Zach Maddox. And there is no battle for position within 4 seconds. This is the perfect time, Zach.
I think for my drivers of the day, I think I'm going to have to pick one. Is going to go to Andrew Rattel. He's worked his way up from 22nd. He's sitting in the 4th spot. He's had a really, really good day. He fell as low as 23rd, so he's been dead last, and now he's up inside the top 5. That's a great run out of him tonight. I think that's going to be a really good showing for that 6 car. And, you know, I'm going to let you keep those higher up picks, Andrew, because I'm going to take another pick that's a little bit out of left field. Braden Van Wingerden. I don't know if we've ever nominated him for driver of the day, but I think I'm going to do just that. He started 12th. He's up into 6th. We don't usually see him recording top 10s, Andrew, and now he has a shot to record a top 10 here. Looking at the standings for BRB, I mean, he hasn't really recorded any sort of top 10s throughout the season. This would be a really great run for him.
My first nomination, Zach, is going to go to Dakota Bly, sitting back here in the 9th position. This has been a fantastic return for him. Even though he's got a couple of battle scars, he's kind of like Rattel in that he started deep down the order, but has quietly moved his way forward. Not quite as high as Andrew Rattel, but for somebody coming back out of retirement for a little bit, and now a big integral part of the BRB Racing League, I'm going to give a nod to Dakota. I'm also going to give a nod. I want to nominate Zach Brandvold, but since he had that moment, I can't quite get him over Jared Hughes. Jared has been up front all night long. It would be insane not to nominate him. He's led 35 laps out of 53 completed. It's his race to lose, Zach, with 7 laps to go. It is in every way his race to lose.
And Jared Hughes he's just been really, really good tonight. He capitalized on the mistakes of others, and he was consistent. And you know, you could say that he somewhat backed into a win, but you really can't. In all honesty, he showed speed in practice. He traded for the pole. He's got the speed. He knows he can do it, and he showed everyone that he has the ability to do it. Now he's out here just proving it. And he's proven it by a solid margin. 6 seconds to Osmer, 38 seconds to Brandvold, 48 seconds to Rattel. I mean, he keeps going a little bit longer. He's going to lap Zachary Maddox here pretty shortly. He would be the next car to go 1 lap down, and that would put only 6 cars on the lead lap.
The question now, Zach, has to become fuel. Is there anybody out there on the lead lap that cannot make it to the end? That's the question, especially between Hughes, Osmer, and Brandvold, and even Rattel, I'd say. Those are the 4 drivers within 1 minute of each other. It's going to be interesting to see. Obviously, time's going to tell. It sounds like a couple of drivers are close. Who is close? How close are they? That's what we're going to find out in these next 5 laps.
It looks like Christian Barnes has had an issue, and he's going to be dropping down a couple more laps on the running order. He had problems earlier on, Andrew, and now he continues to have further problems. See him here just minding his own business. He was running in the 7th position, or the 8th position, excuse me.
Well, that's a live position. He's been passed up. I think he was up in 7th potentially. Regardless, top 10, and then has to come to a stop and drops out.
My goodness. It's been a rough night for that 27 car. It's been a rough night for a lot of drivers tonight coming through the Chicago street course. And, you know, Andrew, as we roll into about 6 laps to go here, we'll take 5 to go next time by. So 5 fingers from the flag stand when Jared Hughes comes back around.
Just got 5 to go.
Oh, well, excuse me. It didn't. I don't know what I was sleeping on. But Hughes has been one of these guys that has just been very, very consistent over the course of the season. Maybe not as consistent as everybody else, but he's usually been in a relatively good spot. He's got 5 top 10s throughout 18 races, really 14 right now, this being race number 15. So 1/3 of his finishes have been inside the top 10. He hasn't recorded any top 5s, so this would be his first top 5 of the season as well. To go along with a win, call it 6 top 10s as well. What a point in time to really kind of turn it around when all things are taken into account.
Definitely a big day for Jared Hughes at the office. Coming down to 4 laps to go the next time by. He's got a 5-second lead over Ronnie Osmer. Osmer, one of the best in the league no matter where you go. This is definitely going to put the league on notice when they go back to a road course in Season 5. We'll catch up with the Sam Dyer incident here as he's around. But when these guys go to their next road course in Season 5, wherever that may be, I think everybody has to watch out now for Jared Hughes. Where they didn't necessarily have to before, they're going to have to watch out for him next time out. Let's see what happened here to Sam Dyer.
It's another incident here of missing it into the braking zone. See, he lets Wingerden go here, so he's already further off the pace than you would expect.
And just didn't quite make it.
It's a heavy blow for that 35 car. Granted, he's still in front of Dustin Stallings.
Yes, let's circle back around to the Dustin and Stallings conversation. Dustin is 13th, 13 laps down. We're at 4 laps to go, coming around to 3. I don't know if there's enough time for him to get Sam Dyer. I think Dustin's going to lock in here at 13th spot. So I'll let you figure out your math, Zach, as he's the final car running in 13th position. I do wonder where he's going to be leaving tonight. Also, battle for 4th starting to shape up. Here we go.
Oh, Osmer had an incident. Oh, no. He ran a little hot going into the corner. Tapped the tire barriers. Johnny Wood Jr. got pretty close to him, and there you see him skipping through the corner just a little bit. Hate to take away from the fight. I heard it off of the camera shot.
Barnes back on track. He passes Dakota Bly. He got back into the sim pretty quickly. But here we go. Braden Van Wingerden. Oh, he's loose. This is the battle for 4th between Braden Van Wingerden and Gray Walker. This is also going to be a big day for Spirit Racing. They're going to put all 3 of their cars in the top 10 if this holds.
How about that? It has been a career night for some and an abysmal night for most. But I'll tell you one person that's having one heck of a night. It's Jared Hughes. He has just been on rails, Andrew. Absolutely tearing it up tonight. And as he rolls through these last few corners, once he clicks by the flag stand, it will be popsicle sticks in the air for that number 98 car. Snapping a 49 race winless streak. Hate to start talking about it ahead of time, but we're not really going to see a full course caution at this point. We're not really going to see too many things that could take this away from him. But it's going to be popsicle sticks in the air and looking to snap that 49 race winless streak for the number 98 Next Level Motorsports car, Jared Hughes.
It's never over until it's over, though, Zach. Anything could happen here to him. There he goes by Dakota Bly. Remember, he got turned around in turn 1 by Cameron Carden some number of laps ago. And Rattel has now got damage. Rattel, by the way, we didn't even notice this. He has fallen well out of the graces. That clean race car is now all kinds of damaged.
Dakota Bly spinning in the background, keeps it off the wall. Not sure what happened to Rattel. I should have knocked on wood. He was the cleanest car we had on the racetrack. Literally no damage. Oh my goodness.
Jared Hughes got that 2 to go signal. He's looking to put Christian Barnes a 3rd lap down if he can get to that 27 car in this next lap and a half. Ronnie Osmer 10 seconds back. It's not over yet. Ronnie's got to keep digging. He can still be in the right place at the right time. There's Jared Hughes.
No.
About a lap and a half to go. We'll come through the carousel here. Turn number 9.
There is just no contest right now, Andrew. Nothing is standing in between Jared Hughes and a checkered flag tonight. You said it yourself. Christian Barnes just up the road to go 3 laps down should he be caught. But Hughes could literally back off and just coast it the rest of the way. They all managed the fuel with the caution laps, and now it's going to be white flag in the air presented by Whiplash Simcams one more time around the circuit for Jared Hughes. 12 corners to go, and he is going to snap a 49 race winless streak. Race 2 of Season 2, back in Richmond on a short track. It's a very different type of racetrack compared to a street course, but Jared Hughes has got it on lock right now.
It's a very different league than it was back at the beginning of Season 2, that's for sure. That was over a year ago for Jared Hughes. Last time he was in victory lane. Looking to close things out here on a street course. If he can just keep that car underneath him for a handful more corners. There is a battle popping up for 4th. Here it is. There's Gray Walker and Braden Van Wingerden. They're close together. But can Braden get there? It's going to be close. Gray has been very careful, very nice and tidy. He might have the cleanest car on the racetrack now as Jared Hughes is not too far behind them, looking to close this one out.
See him letting Barnes letting Hughes on by, Andrew. There's just no contest. The last couple of corners, and it's all going to belong to Jared Hughes. Sliding on through, and through the final corner, you can snap that winless streak. You can call it a day. Jared Hughes off the final corner is going to win the Whiplash Simcams Grand Prix of Chicago.
Battle now sparks up for the 4th position. Wingerden has gone by Gray Walker. Ronnie Osmer comes across the line in 2nd. Zach Brandvold is back there in 3rd. But the battle for 4th, it's Braden Van Wingerden and Gray Walker. They're on the final lap now. Braden Van Wingerden sideways through turn 5. Here comes Gray Walker now. A couple of Toyotas, a couple of young drivers here in the series going at it in turn 5. Braden back over to driver's left. Gray Walker on the outside. Braden Van Wingerden slides and crashes.
He had such a great corner up before that number 1 car, and he just sent it way too hot. Oh, man, and Walker did what he did earlier. Checked up a little early into the corner to keep it clean. How many times has Walker missed a driver sliding too hard in the braking zone? That's 3 now.
It's at least 15 cents, Zach, as Ray Walker comes around the final couple of corners here on the final lap of racing at Chicago. Most of the field, in fact, the rest of the field has already completed their races and has locked in their finishing position. But Ray Walker needs to come around and collect the 4th place this evening. A big day for him in the standings, as well as Braden Van Wingerden. Despite the mistake there on the final lap, it only cost him 1 spot. He will still take a top 5, maybe his first ever in the BRB Racing League, as there's Jared Hughes. He's going to come around, Zach, a very happy Nebraskan. And likely, I would have to guess, he's going to burn it down here on the front stretch in just a moment.
I'm sure he will, and yes, you are right. That's the first top 5 for Braden Van Wingerden. And I can say for certain, with what I'm seeing so far, Wingerden, it might actually just be Wingerden getting his first top 5 and top 10 of the season.
Meanwhile, there's Jared Hughes.
He's walking it.
Gave it a bit of gas there on the front stretch, coming down the front straightaway. There's a couple of cars in the barrier back there, Stallings and Maddox.
Did he run out of gas?
I think he's out of gas. I think he gave it all he had. I think he's out of gas.
And he's going to park it right there on the front stretch.
Hughes parks it. Let's get a replay. It was quick enough. Let's get a replay on that burnout real quick. So here he was in the final couple of corners. And we'll jump inside the car of Jared Hughes. Let's listen to this full burnout. And it stumbled, and that was it.
What are you going to do?
Jared Hughes is our race winner this evening in the Whiplash SimCams Grand Prix of Chicago. Thanks to the BRB Racing League for allowing us to pick this one up this evening. What a day it was for sure. We'll go back and take a look at your unofficial race results here in just a moment and see exactly who finished where this evening at Chicago. Of course, out front, Jared Hughes with the race win, Ronnie Osmer second place, and Zachary Brandvold third. Not at all what I expected at the beginning of the day. It seemed like a Brandvold and Maddox and Stallings kind of day. Hughes snuck in there when they all had issues. And sure enough, Jared Hughes goes to victory lane. Ronnie Osmer gave it his best shot, had a few mistakes of his own. Zachary Brandvold returns up to the top 3, a big recovery drive for him. I gotta say, props there. I wanted to give him a drive of the day nod. If we had a recovery of the day or, comeback of the day, something like that, he would get it for sure. Gray Walker 4th, Braden Van Wingerden a top 5 this evening. Those are your only 5 cars on the lead lap. The rest, boy, it's a mixed bag of emotions for sure. Andrew Rattel 6th, Zachary Maddox 7th, Christian Barnes 8th after 2 disconnects, 1 in the final stage. Dakota Bly in 9th, and Johnny Wood Jr. somehow ekes out a top 10.
I would be shocked had you told me a lot of those drivers wouldn't even be finishing in the top 10 that you see on your screen right now. Cameron Gilmore ends up 11th when all is said and done. 6 laps down. He ended up taking it to the pit lane after that incident with Zach Maddox in the final couple of corners. Sam Dyer ends up 12 laps down, but ends up in the 12th spot, staying in front of guys like Dustin Stallings, who was up front early on in the race, 13th position, 13 laps down. Braxton Skinner ends up right behind him in the 14th position, so he's going to split Stallings and Maddox, who finishes 15th on the day. Evan Patinko right behind him, a further 5 laps back in the 16th position. Cameron Carden had issues of his own as well. He ends up 17th on the day with Caden Perkins right behind him in that 18th position. Richard Wolsifer was someone who had some good speed, was pushing himself back into the top 10, ended up having some spins, put him down in the 19th spot, and Jason Bottoms ends up in the 20th position. And then only a couple of cars left after that. You've got Carl Pooler ending up 56 laps down. Stephen Borbell went upside down. He ended up only about 1 lap into this race, as well as Coulter Clark. And then Kyle Heath never turned a lap, and we do have confirmation that because he never turned a lap in the race, Andrew, he will not be scoring points tonight in his chase hopes, falling him down the running order.
Well, let's dial up our race winner this evening, Jared Hughes. We talked to him after stage number 2. We can talk to him again now as a race winner for the very first time in our coverage stint as well, Jared. You get it done here on the streets of Chicago. But Ronnie was there. Ronnie was there with you for a lot of stage 3. What was going through your mind when he had his problems?
I was really concerned with fuel, so I was trying to hold back a little bit. Well, then I think I got myself into a rhythm, and most of that stage, you really had me nervous, but I kept looking in the mirror and just thinking, God, man, he's got to be tearing his tires up. And he just, every corner, he'd get right up on me. And then I don't know if he'd have a little slip up and I'd get away from him. But man, most of the time he had me really nervous.
And this was a longer road course race, not quite as long as Coda earlier in the season, but it is still 11 o'clock now on the East Coast. So this was a longer race as far as road course races go. How gassed are you?
I am wiped out. My brake pedal is way too stiff. My foot was borderline numb by the time we got done. It was a long one and such a tough track to keep your focus with all the bumps and stuff, but it makes it feel a little better. I got it done.
And of course, we talked about you being an integral part of Next Level Motorsports earlier on this evening and kind of their flagship driver now. How big, though, how helpful was Gavin Rogers being one of your teammates heading into this round? And, of course, Adam and Steven feeling pretty good where they came back and raced.
Man,
well,
it is
we're going to.
Insane having Gavin as a teammate. He's just such a talented road course racer. He gives such great advice. Adam and Steven too, they're both really quick on road courses. I told Gavin once, they said if him and Mason had quit racing these road course races, maybe I could get myself one, and finally got one.
Finally got one. Congratulations, Jared. Good to talk to you. This is a feel-good win for sure. And you know what? I'm going to end the vote where it is because you're so far ahead. Congratulations on winning the Driver of the Day as well. This is a very deserving Driver of the Day vote, I feel like. And, you know, Dakota Bly was even on the list. So congratulations. You eked this one out by a wide margin over Dakota Bly and the fan vote, the Driver of the Day vote. Congrats there, and hopefully we're talking to you again soon.
Yes, thank you guys, and thank you everybody for voting for me.
There you go. Jared Hughes gets it done this evening. We'll move on down to second place, Zach. That's going to be Ronnie Osmer. I am curious what he's going to have to say after all that. And I think Zach still has his mic muted, so we'll give it a second there.
Little technical difficulty, but we're fine. But Ronnie Osmer, really good speed. All race long, had a good shot to win this race, and just you fell up a little short there, Ronnie. What do you think you could have done differently to walk away with the win tonight?
Race anywhere but Chicago street course. I'm gonna try not to Kyle Busch COT this interview as much as I can, but God, I hate this track. I knew I had nothing for Jared. It was just I was just lucky to stay as close to him I could and hope he'd make a mistake. And fortunately, I made one more too many than him, and he hung on to it, so it was good for him. And just I hope if iRacing gave me an option to where I could get a full refund for all the years I've been here, or race this track like never ever again, I'll take the refund and never race here ever again.
Well, even so, you still walk out of here with a second place finish. We talked about it on the show. You've been one of the most consistent drivers all round. You finished second at the last road course race. What do you think it's going to take for you to finally break through that barrier and win on one of these road courses?
A lot of luck. Like, just Coda, I messed up in qualifying and made me start in the back. So that put me behind the 8 ball, like really far back. And then here is just, again, any other road course on the iRacing service, I would have had a shot than this place that should be covered in dirt.
Well, you're still walking out of here with a solid point today and a solid finish, really helping your playoff total. Congratulations on the second place. Hopefully we'll be talking to you again next week at Talladega.
Hope so.
And that was your second place finisher, Ronnie Osmer. And I believe you've got our third place finisher, Zachary Brandvold, standing by.
Yeah, we had to coax him into staying around for us, and it was a rough day for you, Zach. Stage 1 was great, right? You led every lap. We talked to you after that, but what happened there at the beginning of Stage 2?
Yeah, I don't know. I was caught up in something else. I may have braked like a hair later than what I normally do, and I just locked up and tried to do some damage limitation there. Ended up having, I think, like 7 minutes of damage. I got as much fixed as I could, went a lap down, luckily stayed in the lucky dog position, and then decided to stay out with about 6.5 minutes of damage and worked my way up to third. So good recovery, disappointed because I think we had the speed to win.
I think the 55 car definitely had winning speed this evening. So how do you build on this? You still came back through the field, by the way. Third place, that is huge, especially with Dustin Stallings and Brendan Maddox had their issues. Tentatively, you're moved up into the top 3 now in the standings as well. So how do you take this and build on this going into some really crazy racetracks? Talladega, California, Las Vegas. It's going to take a lot out of you guys these last 3 weeks.
Yeah, I'm focused every race at a time. Talladega is going to definitely be a make or break. It's anything can happen. It's wild there, and you don't want to be caught up in a wreck, especially fighting for a championship. So I'm blessed to be in the position that I'm in right now, P3. And just going to keep working at it. I think these past couple weeks have really given me the confidence to try and fight for the wins here.
We're glad to have our logos all over your car this evening. Thanks for being the top Whiplash SimCam's Skittle Squad member out there this evening. Congratulations, and hopefully we're talking to you again at Talladega next week.
Absolutely, thanks.
And Zach, if we look at just the Skittle Squad this evening, props to them all. By the way, most of them survived. Let's go back through the results. Zach finished 3rd. Gray Walker finished 4th. Braden Van Winkler finished 5th. So 3 there in the top 10 right away, just like that. In the top 5 even, Zach. That's pretty big. But then things got a little messy. Cameron Gilmore down in 11th. Dustin Stallings, an honorary member, in 13th. Then on down to Cameron Carden in 17th. This is where things start to get a little less pretty. We also had Coulter Clark in a Skittle Squad car this evening in 23rd spot. So not a great day for Coulter, unfortunately out in that incident with Stephen Borbell. But otherwise, Zach, not a bad showing for the Skittle Squad. First time ever trying something like this for Whiplash SimCams, and I think it was a success. The Whiplash SimCams Grand Prix of Chicago, definitely a fun one here for race 15, the Chicago Street Course this evening. And I'm so glad we did this. I'm so glad we worked together with these drivers. This was a lot of fun.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I like seeing these interesting track combinations, and you could say it's an odd track combination. It's not one you tend to see too often, but it's one NASCAR tried out. It's one a lot of other people like to try out as well. Now we get to move on to some more interesting tracks that we know and love on the NASCAR schedule. Talladega is coming up next. California, while it may not be around anymore, it is still preserved here on the iRacing.com sim, and I think that's going to be one of the better races of the season. Then we move into Vegas. Wrapping this season up so quickly, Andrew.
It's all coming down to a close. Just a few hundred laps left to go this season, and they're all now in September. September 2nd, 9th, and 16th, the final 3 races on this edition of the BRB Buttkicker Cup Series. 3 races to go. Can Dustin Stallings hang on, Zach? It's going to be interesting to wait and see, but that'll do it for us this evening from the Chicago Street Course. I want to give a big thank you to our partners, of course, with the league, the Buttkicker, Ascendance Trucks, Idealies, Sundance Pizza, Performance Food Group, and Maddox Graphics, now known as MX Wraps. A big thank you to our partners here at the channel, Whiplash SimCams, the presenting partner of tonight's race here at Chicago, ATVO, CC's Business, Cody, Williams Design, Lucky Performance, and the North American Racing League. Zach, here's what's upcoming for us. We're right back here at Chicago very soon, but until then, it's Portland and Talladega. Going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, that it is. And plenty of places to follow along. PitstopTV.com, Facebook.com/pitstoptv, Instagram.com/pit_stop_TV, TikTok.com/pitstoptv1, Twitch.tv/pit_stop_TV, YouTube.com/pitstoptv1, and X.com/pitstoptv_. Plenty of places to follow along, plenty of places to catch all the action, and plenty of places to race at coming up here on Pit Stop TV so soon. Can't wait for it.
Thanks so much for tuning in this evening. It's been a pleasure as always. Zach, thanks for being here. For now, though, that'll do it for us here at Chicago Street Course. No more racing tonight. We'll see you all Thursday at Portland International Raceway for the North American Racing League as they head into round 6 of 8 this season. Going to be a lot of fun. We'll catch you all there. Until then, have a great night. We'll see you all next time.